Slap battles, a game where you must slap people. You can collect slaps, gloves, and, of course, slap people. And as the name suggests, it may seem innocent, right? Well, what if I were to told you that this game isn't exactly innocent all the time? What if I told you that it has some deep, dark secrets? Deep, dark ones. And this is the Slap Battles iceberg. The skies. Slap Royale. Slap Royale is one of the main public game modes you will find in slap battles. If you want to play it, you're gonna have to need 1,000 slaps. Upon entering slap battles, you will be teleported into a flying bus, which will then drop you off into the battlefield. Around the map are potions with buff your health, speed, and damage. And the last thing standing wins the Slap Royale victory. And this is self-explanatory to see who this was inspired from. Slapple Tree. The Slapple Tree can be seen and found on the standard Slap Battles arena. The Slapple lives and remains on a floating island conducted by chains near the big arena. Every couple minutes, the tree will spawn about 1 or 2 red Slapples, and upon collecting these Slapples, you'll be granted about 1 to 10 slaps. There is also a very rare chance of a golden Slapple spawning, and upon collecting the golden Slapple, you'll be granted not only 100 slaps, but the Slapple Glove. No one-shot gloves. As the name suggests, this is a specific game mode where all one-shotting gloves are disabled. Any of your typical one-shotters such as the Flex, God's Hand, Overkill, yada yada yada, all of those will be disabled. This is of course meant to be for newer slap battle players so that they're able to grind without the chances of getting steamrolled by a Flex or something. Killstreak only. As the name once again suggests, this game mode restricts any gloves from being used, other than Killstreak, of course. It's basically the game mode allows you to get Killstreak badges or phases without the concern of some annoying-ass Flex user or God's Hand user coming in to ruin your day. The main reason this is on the iceberg is because of the pay-to-win part, however. There is a pay-to-win feature that allows you to get 10 Killstreak kills for the price of about 25 Robux. And I'm not sure what the devs were really thinking about this, but it is downright diabolical. Oh, and speaking of pay-to-win, I'll be getting on that section later. The surface. Removed and replaced gloves. During the time when slap battles was more new to Roblox and wasn't really as popular as it is today, there were 2 types of gloves: the Lego glove and the Obama glove. The Lego glove was the original brick glove, and the Obama was the original error glove. The reason why Lego was replaced with brick is probably self-explanatory, which is copyright. But the reason why Obama was moved isn't exactly clear, but I think it was because Roblox didn't want to have anything to do with presidents, which ended up getting Obama removed and replaced with the Arrow Glove that we all know and love today. Admin gloves. You are likely familiar with what I'm going to be talking about right now. Admin gloves are specific gloves that cannot be used by normal or ordinary players and are considered unattainables. For example, one of the admin gloves is called Train, which is basically a heavily buffed version of the bus glove. The only visual difference is, of course, the bus is replaced with a train that strikes enemies. Another admin glove is called Clone, which, once again, is just a buffed version of an attainable glove. This glove is just a replica glove, except you can produce an infinite amount of clones without any cooldown. The release of Hackers Incident. The title of this part is more or less self-explanatory. Back when Slap Battles was more young and unpopular, it never really actually had its own admin or moderation system, meaning the moderators relied on the old HD admin plugin, which is the same thing used on free admin games. Meaning sometimes they would just not ban people even if the command was entered on them. This wasn't bad, however. In fact, it was actually going nicely. Until some assholes realized they could abuse this by backdooring an HD admin, meaning they could manually ban people in-game without being an admin. This forced Tinsel to remove the HD admin, meaning that the higher-ups in slap battles lost the ability to ban people. And even worse was that all hackers who were banned from slap battles via HD admin were unbanned the moment it was removed. Thankfully, Tinsel was able to save the game by pulling his own ban UI just a couple of days later. Evaded. If you're into SCP, then you should probably be extremely familiar with this part, so get ready. In order to get the evaded badge, you have to get lucky. The first thing you need is a user with the redacted glove. And then he must drag you into the dimension. Upon being dragged in, you have to pick the correct path in order to escape said dimension. If you pick the wrong one, then you're fucking dead. But if you succeed, then congratulations, you are rewarded with the redacted glove. This part would likely be deep into the list if the old man was chasing you around, or you had to do more puzzles. The waters. The pay-to-win side. Although most gloves can be obtained through either slaps or badges, there are some powerful gloves that require Robux to obtain and use. For example, the Overkill is one of the few one-shot gloves in most slap battles, but unlike other typical one-shotters, this one specifically requires Robux to use. You'll need to pay about 1,999 Robux in order to use said glove. Another example is the Ultra Instinct glove. This glove allows you to dodge players' attacks. However, it requires around 750 Robux to obtain. Oh, and don't even get me started on the Killstreak game mode. The Null Zone. This is actually a pretty interesting and mysterious part of the game. The only way to enter the realm is to get sucked into a Rob and Bob black hole clash. Upon getting sucked in, you will be teleported into a dungeon-like place. As you progress through the dungeon, a couple of gremlin-like entities will spawn to attack you, which you must fight off, along with having to go through a couple of puzzles to progress through the zone. Upon completing it, you'll be rewarded the Null Glove. However, the reason this is deeper into the iceberg than the other ones are is because what happens if you lose. If you die, you will have about 100 slaps taken away from you. This makes this part of the game the first ever way to lose slaps in slap battles, other than the moderator taking your slaps away, of course. The distorted memory. Now, normally the average player would probably just sleep on this part and just brush it off. It is actually quite dark. The distorted memory realm is where you obtain either the recall glove or the psycho glove. The recall glove is what I'm going to be focusing on this part, and you'll see why soon. Upon spawning in, one of the first things you'll be likely be seeing is a clone of yourself. When you speak with him, he'll give you a few questions to answer. Upon completing the quiz, you'll be rewarded the recall glove. However, one of the questions you get asked in the quiz is what your clone is, which the correct answer is a distorted memory. This possibly means that the distorted memory clone is not really trying to harm you, but is merely trying to help you regain the memories of your past days. Slap battles almost never existed. Now, this part might not seem like much on paper, but if it didn't happen, slap battles wouldn't be a thing right now. Now we're not making this video, so this is worth covering. The creator of the game, Tinsel, was going to play some Team Fortress 2 with Snow, when he had forgotten something at home. So, he went home and got what he needed, and was thinking, should I play Team Fortress 2 with Snow? He ended up deciding not to, and decided to instead make a game about slapping people, that being the beauty that is slap battles. So yeah, this is based off a true story, and TF2 almost cost tinsel his future game. The depths. The cube of death. In a normal slap battles arena, you've probably noticed that there was a spinning right cube surrounded with black arrow. And as the name suggests, upon touching the cube, you'll be killed instantly. But the cube doesn't affect other players. Other types of entities such as Bob or the replica clone will be affected and killed by the cube. But other than this, we don't have much information about the cube or otherwise. Did Tinsel create it? Did Rob create the cube in order to prevent Bob from inflicting more damage and suffering onto innocent souls? Well, I guess we're just gonna have to wait since we don't have much lore-wise info about this thing. The Elude Glove. This glove grants the ability to basically become immortal to most glove attacks, with the exception of Rob and Bob. But what gives this glove such a deep take onto the iceberg is because of how you obtain it. First, you have to find and locate a code keypad, and upon finding the keypad, the code will be the amount of number of players in your lobby, which will normally be 14 at max, timed by a certain number. Once you enter the code, you'll be teleported to a type of maze-like place, and you'll have about 11 minutes to find 4 gloves. But the feeling in the maze is overall extremely eerie and creepy. Just listen. You would almost always expect something to jump out or jump scare to happen. And the music that plays in the maze does not make you feel better in the slightest. Anyway, upon completing the maze, you'll be teleported to a hallway where the Eel Glove will be waiting for you. And upon touching it, your reward is, well, the Elude Glove. But what makes this even worse is that you can actually get chased by an entity in the maze, though you have to activate him manually first. As for who him is, his name is Pim. Pim must be spawned in order for you to obtain a counter glove. But as for Pim alone, well, I'll cover him later in the video. Bob is always watching. Now, if you go and play Slap Royale, you may or may not have noticed that Bob's face is in the sky. Now, this is intended to seem comical, but it is actually darker than it seems if you dig a bit deeper and put it into context. This means that he's essentially spying and stalking the warriors that are fighting, watching as his fighters suffer and die, smiling in amusement at the sight of death. This also means they will never truly be safe from Bob's presence. The Eternal Bob. Upon entering Bob's eternal portal, he'll seemingly enter the powered state, becomes massive, and he showers meteors down and produces shockwaves to throw you away. This also does raise a lot of questions and theories. How did he get into this state? Has he evolved? Did Bob absorb the souls he consumes in main game? We don't know much about Eternal Bob other than, well, it's Bob. But maybe we'll get more lore about him in this state. Maybe not. Or maybe. The Abyss. Pim. Pim is one of the main antagonists in the slap battles. He appears in Elude Maze where you either obtain the Elude Glove or the Counter Glove. To obtain Counter Glove, you need to pull a lever inside the maze, where measures will pop up saying Pim is coming. After the message, Pim will spawn somewhere in the maze and begin to chase you around. He won't stop chasing you until you either complete or leave the maze. If he does catches you, if you do get caught, you'll be kicked from the game with the following: you have been taken. Now, the reason Pym is even in the maze to begin with is because the Tinsel, a Slap Battles mod, locked him away in the maze, where Pym is forced to stay in the maze, being fed only wanderers who are unlucky enough to get caught by him. Not only does he chase you throughout the maze, but he also watches you all the time too, even if you didn't pull the lever. As Tinsel himself stated, that he tried to stop him from stalking his victims. This always raises questions for all of us, being, what did Pym do, and why was Pym locked in the maze? Well, I guess we might not never know, since we don't know much of Pym's history in slap battles. Rob. Rob, also known as the Returner of Brightness, is one of the badges that was just added recently. According to the Wikipedia page, Rob was created on an island where Battle Royale took place. Rob was created by a team of scientists made to stop Bob from causing suffering around the world. They were able to create Bob after they had found a trace of his body after they ruined an island. They then took that sample to create an entity, being our boy Rob. Rob then evolved and became more and more powerful. The scientists decided to leave him and keep him in his chamber until he reached his true form, to kill or maybe even defeat Bob. However, things went downhill for the scientists. One day, the opposition heard a loud crash from Rob's containment chamber. When they looked, they were shocked to see that Rob's chamber was shattered and broken, suggesting that Rob had escaped. This drove the scientists to insanity, since they spent countless years creating him. Though it's not known what happened to Rob after the incident. Did he choose voluntarily to escape to fight Bob? Did Bob abduct Rob? That still remains a mystery to this day. Bob. Not much is known about present Bob, but much is known about past Bob. He was a god. He had everything. He had infinite power, and he loved to bring pain and suffering to Earth. He would blind people, disable them, torture them, and sometimes even killing people. And for what? His own personal amusement. Though he wasn't aware of the consequences that would soon come to him. The other gods, who were his former peers, did not like what Bob was doing. So, they made a plan to banish him where he would not be able to hurt anyone physically again. But only physically. Upon being banished, he woke up into this strange game, which is slap battles. He thought he was doomed to live here, but then he realized that he might not be able to hurt anyone physically, but he could still hurt them mentally. Rob and Bob's rivalry. Now, I think it's quite obvious why Bob and Rob seriously hate each other. I mean, Bob is literally made to stop Bob's rampage, while Bob is trying to do exact opposite of that. Along with that, Rob essentially stops him from causing suffering. Rob seemingly kills him in his eternal Bob state, and we don't really know much about their rivalry other than this. Though maybe we'll find out more later on. Notive and slap battles. Now, despite the seemingly isn't chin chill factor of this specific part, it is actually quite a bit gross and pretty fucking disturbing too. So if you're sensitive to things like this, then either click off or just skip this part. And trust me, you'll see why. You'll see why, what I mean in a minute. For those who don't know, Notive is an extremely skilled Roblox animator, making extremely skilled animations. Notive is also one of the people to make slap battle game trailers for YouTube and Roblox, making not one, but two different gaming trailers for the game. Now, this may seem innocent at first, but this is where things take a seriously dark turn. Just pretty recently, Notice was exposed for grooming minors, pedophilia, and a lot of more disgusting shit. The moment the slap battle creators saw the allegations, they immediately took the video down from their game. And as for the trailers and Notif himself, his channel and slap battle reels are still public, sadly. We don't know where his whereabouts are right now, and we're not sure where he has gone now. Was he arrested? Is he taking therapy to recover? Well, for now, the best we can hope that he's in jail, because that remains a mystery to this day. And that's it. That's the Slap Battles iceberg. This was a lot harder than it should have been, so please like and subscribe for more content like this. See ya.